balancing in my microwave right now. Women in STEM. Welcome back to the Chan. I look a mess. I'm a little bit wired right now because I drank a Celsius and I haven't had a Celsius in 3 months, and I just decided today I have a lot to do. I have a lot to do from morning until night. I'm working like a dog. It's September, baby. I literally don't know how we got here. I had basically the opposite of a brat summer. I moved, my dad got surgery, I spent a lot of time with family, I didn't go to the clubs or the bars once, and I barely saw my friends. Summer 2024, it's already the fall, it's my birth month. I've been thinking a lot about birthdays and what they mean, especially for women as we get older. This video is going to be pretty on brand with my other videos in the sense that it doesn't have a theme or a focus. The camera's not even in focus. But I thought I'd just take you guys along with me, give you a couple of life updates, vlog a little bit, show you around my new apartment. Thank you guys so much for sticking around, if you're still around. This channel has been through many iterations. I'll post a video once every 4 years and then go ghost, and somehow there's still like 5 or 6 people here, so love you and hope you enjoy this video. Holding my camera with my hands because I don't have a tripod, because why would I? It's the night before my birthday, and every night before my birthday I have a mental breakdown, and this has been going on for almost my whole life, and I really don't know why. I think it's a combination of factors. I think the physical realities of getting older are a little terrifying. The idea of your body slowly breaking down and deteriorating is not fun to think about. But I think what worries me even more than the physical side of it is the mental side of it. Losing your memory, losing your mind, losing your ability to comprehend things is horrifying. Whether it's the way that it should be or not is to be debated, but we live in a world where appearances matter and appearances are valued, and they're a commodity. So the idea that as I keep getting older, one day looking the way that I look now will not be a reality, and I will be faced with losing access to things that I have now simply because someone deems me as attractive or desirable, makes me really pissed off, but also it is the way that it is. Our company has a storage unit and they asked me to clean it out, and normally it wouldn't be that big of a deal if it were just office supplies like folders and pens. However, it is desks, it is laptop equipment, it is like banners that are twice my height, and I'm a little nervous because normally I would just ask someone that had more upper body strength than I do for help, since this unit is on the 2nd floor, but none of them are available and they want it cleaned out by the end of the month, so I'm gonna go attempt to do it by myself. If I can make it through today and not have any broken bones or strained joints, it'll be a W. The good news is that I found an elevator at the storage unit. The bad news is that it didn't work, because why would it work? But eventually I actually did get it to work, and I found the storage unit, which is pretty impressive for me because I have the navigation skills of an 8-year-old driving her mom's SUV to go to a donut shop in another state. I found it, and the unit was kind of eerie at first, but it quickly transitioned into this ambience, which was actually weirdly soothing and therapeutic. So actually, let me put some music over it and maybe you'll get what I mean. My car won't start. Yeah, so I got in my car, turned it on, 5 check engine lights come on. It's making like a really, really weird noise. It sounds like 2 metal pipes are grating together. One of the lights that came on is the low oil pressure light. Me if I knew what the fuck that meant. I'm just kind of bummed because it's like you could be having the best week of your life, and boom, car problems. And God knows how much that this is going to cost to fix. My car is a 2009 model, so at this point, I might just have to get a new car. Which, like, can I fucking afford a new car? I'm looking at my car's manual, like that's gonna help. Anyways, pray for me. God has smiled on me. Take control, and I'm vulnerable. Please straight talking to us. Conversation overload. Got me feeling vertigo. Touch me, baby, put your lips on mine. Can go to hell, but we'll probably be fine. I know you want it, baby, you can have it. Oh, I've never done it, let's make it cinematic. It's so confusing sometimes to be a girl. Probably 'cause it happened, baby. Probably 'cause it's over. It's election day. And a lot of people are saying that this is one of the most important elections of their lifetime, and I would agree to a certain extent. I think weirdly enough, this has actually been one of the most difficult decisions that I've made as a voter, but ultimately I just made the decision that I thought would be best for this country, but also for the people. I've been thinking a lot about the election and the state of the country in general, and what it means to see a political figure as an idol, because in my eyes, like, politicians are there to serve the public. Like, their literal civic duty and their job is to represent their constituents. So I have never viewed a politician as anything other than a human being whose job is to represent their community and work to pass legislation that positively impacts that community. When I was in high school in 2016, I remember thinking to myself, there's no way Trump can win. He's a clown. He's a comedian. He's a media personality. He has no experience in politics. There's no way, like, he's running as a joke. Come to find out, all of those things were why a lot of his supporters liked him so much. They liked that he wasn't a politician. They liked that he said things like they were. And that is just an example of something that I've seen on both sides of the spectrum, which is this really dangerous propensity to completely worship something or stand something or someone in a way that is unhealthy and often parasocial. The internet definitely plays a role in all of this, a very large role, and I think particularly social media plays a role because we are surrounded by our own echo chambers. I think particularly for older generations, Generation X, boomers, you know, people that have social media accounts, like Facebook accounts, for example, and the only content they see is content from their friends who agree with them, from pages that they follow who they agree with, and they're never seeing any diversity. They're never seeing any diversity in opinions, diversity in appearances. I mean, everyone is kind of just regurgitating what they already think, because that's how algorithms are designed. They want to show you things that you like so that you stay in that application for longer. But I don't think that this is as simple as just red versus blue or, you know, conservative versus liberal, because I think that there's problems on both sides, and all of this has kind of forced me to reckon with my own biases. For a long time, I thought TikTok was stupid. I thought it was a ripoff of Vine. I thought it was just a bunch of preteens lip syncing to pop songs. Then the pandemic happened, and all of a sudden, I was laid off from my job. I had to move back home. I was unemployed. I literally had nothing going on, and all I did all day was sit in my room. So I decided to download TikTok, quite honestly, out of boredom. That was 5 years ago. Ever since then, I basically have an addiction. And the thing about being addicted to your phone and to social media in general is that I think it's a bit more nuanced of an addiction than other addictions, and I think it's also a lot easier to conceal. I mean, if you're addicted to something like drugs, A lot of times it's pretty obvious, but when you're addicted to your phone, it's like everybody's addicted to their phone. That's just the way things are. But that doesn't mean that that's the way that things should be. I'm on my phone all the time. My screen time has been over 10 hours before, and at least 5 to 6 of those hours have been spent specifically on TikTok. And it's hard. I'm not saying it's the hardest thing ever, okay? I don't want to sound like I'm a first world brat, which I totally am. This is about to sound extremely corny, but I genuinely mean this when I say it. You have to love yourself enough to end your addiction, even if your addiction is to your phone. Because when I did not love myself, I succumb to scrolling because I was like desperate for any form of interaction. I cannot even tell you how many times I would constantly refresh Instagram after I posted a photo or even a story to see who liked it. Did the person that I want to like it? Who's this random person liking it? Why aren't enough people liking it? Am I ugly? Should I delete it if it doesn't get enough likes? It's this never-ending cycle that is so fucking stupid when you think about it. And I kind of get annoyed when people are like, just put the phone down, it's not that deep, when like it kind of is that deep. Like my brain has been rewired to be addicted to this, when the only dopamine and serotonin I'm getting from my day-to-day life is when I stare at my phone. Obviously I'm gonna want to stare at my phone. And the cycle continues when you compare yourself not only to others, but to your former self and your future self. I'm constantly comparing myself to my former self because it's like when I was in high school, when I was in college, I would wake up every morning at 8 a.m., go on a run, go to school all day, go to rehearsal after school, go to swim practice, go home, do homework, sleep, do it all over again the next day. Same thing in college. I was working, I was going to class, I was hanging out with friends. I did so much in my everyday life, and I feel like the pandemic changed so many things because it kind of forced me to live my life at a slower pace, which at first was actually very refreshing, but eventually it turned into just me being on my phone all the time. Because during the pandemic, I couldn't do a lot of the things that I used to be able to do. I couldn't just go out and hang out with my friends. I couldn't go to a classroom to learn. I couldn't go to a bar and meet people. I couldn't travel. So the result of that was I was at home. And I know some of y'all pretentious individuals will be like, well, I loved the pandemic. It was an amazing time in my life. I stayed home and baked banana bread and read books. But that was not the case for me. I was depressed. My hair was falling out. I was getting fat. I was unemployed. I felt like shit about myself, and I was doom scrolling every single day. It's really scary to think that my focus and my mental state has deteriorated so much from back when I was in college, which was only a few years ago. But the only way that I have learned to deal with this problem is to just be on my phone in moderation. Like, it's not realistic for me to never be on my phone, but the way that I've started to kind of address this problem is I don't go on my phone the first 30 minutes of the day. I don't go on my phone the last 30 minutes of the day. And I have to keep myself busy because for me, boredom is the crutch. Like, boredom is the root of a lot of the evils in my life because I get bored and then I'm on my phone and then I get sad and then I get depressed and then the cycle continues. So I go outside, I go on a walk, I cook a meal, I sit here and talk to a camera because this is probably not healthy either. In fact, this is probably fucking neurotic, but it's better than scrolling on my fucking phone.